Hey, gearing up for good team. I'm lucky to have with me Dr. Jay Alberts, who joined us on a ride on cycling across Ohio with our effort back in September. Jay, welcome.
Thanks, Joe. Great to see you again.
Yeah, we had an awesome event. We're dressed a little bit differently than we are now. The work you do is cool, Jay. Could you share with us how you made the connection between the kind of work you do and pedaling?
Yeah, sure, Joe. I tell you, it was very serendipitous. So in 2003, I was part of a cycling group in Atlanta, and I was doing my research was really focused on deep brain stimulation. But I was cycling with this group, and there was a woman in that group who had Parkinson's. And she participated in some of my studies, and we were talking one night, and she said, "Oh, I want to spend more time with my husband." Which we all kind of looked odd because it's like, we know your husband, we don't want to spend more time with him. And so I had the brilliant idea that we should ride across the state of Iowa on a tandem bike, just to raise awareness for Parkinson's, really. And it goes back to, because a very good friend of mine who I used to do construction with, he was diagnosed with Parkinson's in Iowa, small town, and lived on a farm his whole life. And, his experience wasn't very good in the sense that he was diagnosed and the neurologist came to him and said, well, this is going to happen in 1 year, then in 3 years, and in 8 years, basically you're going to be in a chair. And what he did was he just went right to the chair. He sat in the chair and the disease actually went faster. And so it was at that point, I was like, gosh, we got to do something here. And so really it was to go to Iowa, not necessarily to exercise per se, but really to raise awareness that life isn't over once you have Parkinson's. And then when we were in Iowa, again, Ralph and Kathy were going to ride a tandem. And I don't know if you've spent much time on a tandem, but most married couples don't do very well on a tandem. Take a cross-country trip with your spouse in the car, pre-Google Maps, and having them navigate. You get the picture. But anyway, so they had a little bit of a challenge, and then I ended up riding with Kathy for 5 of the 7 days, and we had a great time. And Kathy, her motor symptoms seemed to improve while she was on the tandem, and so that was curious to me. And we had some other experiences with other patients similarly, and then I started to think, there's something going on here, and that's when we started looking in the literature. And turns out riding a tandem bike is very much like what happens with animal models of exercise in Parkinson's that were very positive, right? So very briefly, I don't want to bore you with the whole thing, but it's kind of an interesting story though. You put an animal like a mouse or a rat that has Parkinson's, you put it on a treadmill and it just falls off the back, right? Because it can't move. So you've successfully given it Parkinson's. Then what you do to exercise it is you put that same rat or mouse on that treadmill, but now you have an electric grid. So if they don't keep up, they get shocked. And so that's called forced exercise. So they're forcing the animal to run at a rate faster than they normally do. Very similar if you think about the tandem, right? So 2 people and the front and back person are linked via the timing chain. So what I was doing is I was pedaling to 80 to 90 RPMs. Kathy pedaled at about 40 or 50. So I was forcing her to pedal faster than she was normally. And so that really led into this whole concept of applying this concept of forced exercise to Parkinson's.
And hence the impetus for what you do today at the Cleveland Clinic, I guess.
Yeah, no, it's I like to say we've come from the cornfields to the clinical trials, right? And so what we really had, it was to me a great example of translational science, right? We observed something and then we brought it to a laboratory and then we proved it out. And now we're doing, in collaboration with you and your efforts, now we're trying to get it back into the community.
That's so awesome, Jay. And yeah, in addition to all the research work you're doing, you've shared the effort we did this ride for, Pedaling for Parkinson's. Can you share with us quickly what that
For sure. Yeah, so Pedaling for Parkinson's, or PFP, we developed it or started as a nonprofit in 2003 when we realized that there were people in need who live outside of the zip code of a major academic medical center, right? So small towns in Iowa, Ohio, wherever. There are people who have needs, and those needs are there and not really being met. So we developed our 501c3 to meet their needs. And it ranges all the way from helping people out with their medication in terms of some financial support to, the first thing we did was we gave a woman in Iowa and her husband a chair in a lift chair for their pickup. So you think, well, why did you do that? Well, for them, it was very important to go look at the crops on Sunday afternoon. That's what they did. But Mr. Beekman could no longer get in his car or in the pickup. So that was something that was missing. It was a real big piece of their life. So we bought them a lift chair, and now then they could do it. And it was a hugely impactful thing for them. And so that's what we really try to do is see where the need is and meet that need. And we're pretty small, we're a grassroots, so there's not a lot of bureaucracy involved with it. And, we have very proud of this. We've got over 160 Pedaling for Parkinson's exercise programs across the United States in YMCA's. I think it's probably the largest formal exercise program. I know it's the largest formal exercise program for Parkinson's. And so, yeah, we're really trying to go to the community and to meet people where they are. And I'll tell you one last story. We had a woman in Alvord, Iowa, population 204, who had Parkinson's. There wasn't even a YMCA near her. So, we arranged to work with Peloton, and we sent her a Peloton bike. So those are some of the things that we do, and how we use our funds. And, we don't have any paid employees. It's all volunteer, our website, our content, our marketing, most from individuals with Parkinson's. And many of them have gone on the RAGBRAI event with us for the past 15 years or so. So it's a real community, and something that's been great for me, personally, professionally, and for my family, is I've integrated them into this effort as well.
Yeah, man, it sure comes through riding with you. You could tell it's way, way more than something you do for work. It's much of your life, and what you're bringing to people that wake up to this every day is awesome. We shared a great time riding across the state together. What was it, 326 miles, where you got to participate several days. And thanks so much to all you Gearing Up for Good supporters. You've been awesome. We've been able to contribute over $20,000 to Jay's effort on Pedaling for Parkinson's as a result of our riding together and your contributions. And we have a link to the site, the Pedaling for Parkinson's, should anybody else feel so inclined. But it's really doing meaningful work that's truly helping people. Jay, great to meet you. Thanks for this opportunity.
Yeah, Joe, it's a pleasure, and look forward to many more miles.
Absolutely. We'll keep cranking for people.
Exactly.
Cheers all.